Hello Youdub update. I'll try and keep this brief as I can because they tend to be a bit long, these videos. First thing, membership. I put out a call for new members based on other people's recommendations at the weekend, and people are signing up as a result of those invitations. That's now the third level of membership invitations. First I invited people I know, what you might call friends. Then it went to friends of friends, and now it's out to friends of friends of friends, two degrees of separation away. And it's as far as I'm going to go. We've got a kind of bedrock there of people who are active and interesting and interested. So at this weekend coming, I'm going to open it up to general membership. So anybody can subscribe from this weekend. So if you know of anyone who you'd like to recommend, or you'd fancy doing a shout out, that would be brilliant. I'd love that. See if we can get more people on board. It's still a little wobbly as a platform, but I think that's fine. The server isn't the best server. I'm using Pacific Host, which apparently is not the best host, so I may migrate at some point. But it's secure enough and it's stable enough, and it's doing some kind of a job. So let's see if we can open it up and see how many people we can get on board, which would be great. Okay, there are some changes to the site pending, some which are in the short term, so I'll speak about those first. And then some longer term ambitions and changes and that kind of thing, which, as I say, I'll leave to the end. So, okay, changes. The first change you might see is the like-dislike button. I've made a couple of videos about this and sent out some feelers to various people, and I got some fantastic feedback, both in terms of PMs and comments on videos and so on, which is just really, really useful. The like-dislike thing on YouTube is represented by thumbs up. Facebook and Vimeo have only got the equivalent of thumbs up. Different kinds of sites use different systems. The old YouTube used to use star systems. Consumer sites tend to use star systems like Amazon or Internet Movie Database, those kind of sites, Rotten Tomatoes, star systems. And I've been using this system which is to do with proximity and distance. You rate a video as being something you feel close to or something you feel distant from. Now, much as I like that conceptually, and I really do like it conceptually, frankly it's just not working, so I have to let it go, I think. People aren't just finding it intuitive enough, and even myself, I'm using it and I'm still not finding it intuitive. I'm still finding myself translating it into the language of evaluation, liking and disliking, or liking a little, liking a lot, those kind of things. So I'll probably be taking the distant proximity thing off and replacing it by something else. So in the short term I might replace it by thumbs, or I might replace it by stars. If you've got other kinds of ideas of what kind of intuitive system I could put there, that would be brilliant. Keep the information coming. But it'll be changing. So watch out for those icons at the bottom of the video, bottom left. They will be changing. The rating system will change. On that, I'm kind of in two minds about ratings myself. Sometimes I like them, sometimes I don't. But I do want to try to use them. I do want to see if we can find a function for those, which is different to the YouTube function. Just a little bit of backstory there, as you undoubtedly know. On YouTube, the like button is different to the dislike button. It's not just the opposite, it's completely different. It's not only does it add to your ratings, the ratings of a particular video, it also sends a message to your subscribers. It appears in your subscribers' activity stream, which is a kind of sharing function. So as well as a ratings function, it also has a sharing function. Youdub doesn't have that. On YouTube, again, the dislike function isn't shared, it's anonymous, and only appears as a little red bar, as a contributor to the little red bar on the ratings of the video itself. So it's very different. And I don't want to use that as a model on Youdub. I don't think it's helpful. I don't think it works, quite frankly, on YouTube. I've never used the dislike button on YouTube because it just doesn't work for me. But I do want a rating system that works, or something like it. I do think we should play with that. So if you're up for this on Youdub, do please use whatever rating system you see there. And if we can all, just for the sake of this experiment, try to get over our natural resistance to rating things down, or that feeling of rating something down. I'd like to try to have that possibility of giving a high rating or a low rating, a thumbs up or a thumbs down, 5 stars or 1 star. I'd like to have that as a possibility just for now, just to see how it works. So do use that. I mean, look at my videos, look at this video, if this is on Youdub. If you're watching this on Youdub, look at this video. If there's anything you don't like about it, maybe that poster on the wall, or maybe this purple thing I've got around my neck, or maybe you just don't like one of my ideas. If for any reason you don't like it, please do hit the thumbs down, distance, 1-star button. Just do it, you know. I have no problem with that at all. This is experimental phase, beta testing. Let's use the positive and negative buttons for this thing so we can get some data into the system to see how it works. See what we can do with it, yeah? So please do the like-dislike thing. And that's a change you're going to be seeing over the next week or so. The other thing you'll probably see which is different is, at the moment on the homepage of Youdub, there is a column on the right-hand side which is labelled Most Active Users. And it gives the top 10 most active users based on their numbers of videos uploaded and numbers of comments they've made. And I put some multipliers into that, so videos get 2 points and comments get 1 point, that kind of thing. I have to say I don't like the system. This is purely me. I don't like that whole most active thing. I find it quite difficult. It doesn't measure quality of content. It doesn't bring in any other kind of metric. And because myself and Emendum are such prolific video makers, you know, we're stuck up the top there and probably will be for the foreseeable future. So, and I don't feel comfortable with that either. So I'll probably be losing that most active users box and probably replacing it with something else. So keep an eye out for that. If you're particularly fond of it, let me know, and I'll maybe set up a poll or something like that at some point to get people's feedback on that. But the thing I'll probably be replacing it with, and what I'd like to be able to replace it with, is something like a trending topics box, like they have on Twitter. You know, Twitter has this idea of trending topics, so that you can see what kinds of things people are talking about. And I'd quite like something like that. Maybe limiting it to just what your subscribers and friends are talking about, or maybe the whole community. Either way, some kind of variation on that idea that there's a tide of ideas flowing through the site that you, if you want, can surf on for a while. I just like the idea of that. Again, it may not work. Once it's up and running, give me feedback. I'll maybe do another poll, see if I can get some statistics on what people's opinions of that are. But again, you might see that appear on the right hand side where the most active users thing is now. And that's something to watch out for. Something like trending topics. Okay, longer term ideas. Oh, the other thing, yeah, longer term, medium term I should say. Medium term, I do still want to do something with this Frends thing. I keep talking about this Frends thing, and it is going to be important. I do want to build friend networks in there, in the broadest sense of the term friends. Because I do want a system for deriving much more local sets of community guidelines and community standards, which are not top down, but which are developed in local trust networks. And I think the friend protocol, a Frends function on here will probably provide something like a basis for doing that. Not to legislate any particular set of community guidelines, but allow community guidelines to form locally. So that's something to watch out for in the future. Again, I'll signal that before anything is instantiated, and I'll try and get some feedback from yourselves. But the Frends thing I do want to kick in at some point. That'll be medium term. Slightly longer term, I've been playing around with different templates. As you may know, if you've been on the site since the start, the first template I had was basically a clone of YouTube 2008, and it looks like YouTube. There were some problems with it, a bit glitchy in places, but it's quite an attractive template. I personally prefer the one that's on there now, but at some point I would like it if you could swap your templates so you could look at the site in different ways. I think it would also get us used to the idea that this isn't a kind of corporate, I can't express myself properly, but the idea that we can look at this media, look at this content through all kinds of different windows, and we can tailor our window to match that. So I will like the idea of being able to swap templates at some point, for you to be able to swap a template. That would be really interesting. So watch out for that in the medium to long term. Other functions. Yeah, this is really kind of sort of blue skies. I mean, what I'd like to be able to do is, at some point, is not to proliferate myself, but to offer the system out to other people. At the moment, as you know, several people are using the same platform as Youdub to host different kind of video communities. Gary's Vlogadome, Ashes the Raven has got Random Error Network, which is again built on a clip bucket platform, and we could, could potentially be others. And I can certainly see a time when we can give one another access to certain bits of database, obviously with users' consent, Not personal information, nothing like that, but access to one another's data about videos. So at some point in the future it may be possible, for example, to come onto my site, onto Youdub, and choose whether you want to search just within Youdub or whether you want to search within a network of networks, which would also include Random Error Network, Vlogodome, other kinds of networks that I know are being set up. So that might be an interesting way of doing it. So again, we can kind of sense that there's communities which lie within the site boundaries, but they're also part of larger communities which lie out with the site boundaries. Now that I think would be a really interesting thing. That's not going to happen tomorrow or next week, you know, that's down the pipe a bit if it happens at all. But that's the kind of system I would certainly like, one that has really porous boundaries. Yeah, kind of along that theme, but again, this is not for the short term. What I'd really like is a much more distributed system, one that doesn't use databases in quite the same way. Maybe that uses torrent files, streaming torrents. I know that system is coming online, it's becoming much easier. So I can certainly imagine a much more distributed model eventually building out of what we're doing right now, in which, you know, everyone's got this client, everyone's got a browser interface. You put your videos that you want to upload into an upload folder, they become torrented, they become shared, and they become available to everyone to discuss. And that would be a really nice, easy way of doing it, with each video has a unique identifier that brings it in. It would work really well. That would be truly distributed if we can get to that point. And I would certainly want to, if anybody's thinking about those ideas, and I know some of you are because I'm in conversation with you, then, you know, let's join in that conversation and see if we can find a way to do it. I think that's pretty much it really right now. Yeah, I've got some other ideas, but I'll save those from the one because I've witted on long enough, as they say. Okay, any feedback, let me know, that'd be brilliant. Goes live next weekend and public next weekend, so spread the word, please, if you can. Hit the like, hit the dislike, don't be afraid to tell people you don't like stuff. We're all grown-ups, we can take the criticism, and yeah, let's do this.